Hi, this is Steve again, and you know, this is a pretty slow process. I'm sure that for you, millions of YouTubers, this is like watching grass grow in lab residence. But I have an excuse, at least for the first half of this summer, which is that I was rebuilding Squeak, the world famous 3 years in a 12-foot boat, and sorry, I'm not going to take the cover off for you, but just believe me, she's really beautiful inside there. So I still got some stuff done on the boat, and let's go over and look at the boat now. Okay, one little thing I did that on the last installment, you saw the pieces created, but now they're bonded in place, which are the hull to deck joint ledges, you might say. There's a boating term for that, but it's just a flat surface upon which the decks can be bonded to the hull. That's this. And then, since I'm here, this is the tiller stock. Now, this will have a tiller, but since the stern and the rudder are way back there, this is a kind of a repeater. It was going to have a yoke on it across here that matches a yoke back there. That is connected by lines. That is connected by lines. This has a tiller here. So when you turn the tiller, this stock will turn, which will sympathetically turn the rudder. And so this is the actual tiller stock without the other parts of it on yet. But this is this little well or socket, which actually is very similar to the mast steps, which I'll be showing you in a minute. That's the tiller stock. Then there's electrical, and let's go over to electrical. Mostly I just bought a bunch more stuff. So I'm just a little bit more ready, and I do have the battery box ready to go. That's where I put my battery. Okay, now to where we're going to look at hatch frames. Yeah, this is about the hatches. There are going to be, whatever, a lot of compartments. This is the hatch that I'm mainly going to rely upon. It's got a rubber seal here. It's got these two compression bars, I guess you call them. You put the hatch in place, you tighten these things up, and these impinge on the underside of the deck, squishing everything together, so there's a watertight seal. And so to create the framing for that, I've made these longitudinal members, longitudinal frames, beams, and then transverse. But the transverse had to have these notches cut out because when the deck's in place, you slide it in like that. You get those arms in. Then it comes to as far as you can. Then the other side will drop in place. So you have to have those notches in them, which of course weakens it a lot. And that's why, in the case of these transverse frames, they've got carbon fiber as well as S-cloth. By the way, S-cloth, which is here, 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 it's all unidirectional. It's 25% stronger than regular fiberglass, and of course, carbon fiber is stronger yet. So I'm hoping that's. Well, I do little deflection testing, and it does seem to be rigid enough. So that's one of many hatch frames, of which 3, I guess, have been built. Now it's time to talk about the mast steps. Okay, now the last and biggest thing is the mast steps. All this stuff has to get done before the deck goes on, and it's actually kind of hard to make a mast step before the deck is there, it seems like. At any rate, in order to explain the mast steps, I have to refresh your memory about the type of rig this is going to have. I had a free, complete rig given to me from a totally different kind of boat. That had a freestanding mast, cat, yawl, and this will also be freestanding mast, but I don't know whether it's going to be a ketch or a schooner until all gets done, because I don't know the order in which I'll put the big sail versus the small sail. It all depends on which one gives me the best balance. I don't really even know how to design in the windward helm versus leeward helm balance of the kind of boat that I'm making, but I don't really need to because I've got all these options of equipment that I can stick into the various holes when I get done. And those holes are the mast steps. Now, as I told you before, there's another complication, and that's this rig comes with the mast, which are carbon fiber, but also the stub masts. Now, these stub masts are heavy walled aluminum things that go into the mast steps. So, these go down inside of what will be sockets, and I now have these parts made. This is the mast step. It's a little cup that will be bonded to the bottom, and this is the sleeve that will be at deck level, and you can come over here to see where they will go in terms of the foremast. The sleeve will be like that, and the step will be inside that little compass there, the rose there. Okay, so that's the foremast, and then the aft mast. Follow me. These parts are welded up out of stainless steel by a friend of mine, a very valuable new friend who does that sort of thing. And then, in this case, I've bonded on some of the foam. Everything is foam core. Same thing with these things. You can see how this is core of foam. So these parts are all light. So anyway, this one goes here. And you can see the step down there. So, and then they will have sockets, well, they'll have a tube built up around so that there will be the watertight socket from step to sleeve before the deck goes on. And don't expect too much else from me this summer, because the summer's about over. And we'll see you next year, okay?